Hello there. So I wanted to add a new series to my channel. So in this series we'll be building a MERN application with TypeScript. This application will help you to go from a beginner to an intermediate level, as we'll be covering subjects such as state management and TypeScript. So let me demonstrate how the application works. So you can create new categories. Let's just say science, and I can view the category. I can change the name to say programmers, and if I change the title, it changes. It's a complete CRUD application, and I can add new contacts, say dev, phone number, and I can give a description saying, let's say front end, and I can add it. I can also delete each contacts as well. So I'll delete this one, and if I go back, each categories has number of contacts, how many contacts are there in each categories. So in this there are 4, as you can see here. This there are 2, and in these there are zeros. So this is what we'll be building. Hope you guys enjoy. Now let's move on to the stack which we'll be using. So for the front end we'll be using React. We'll be using context API for state management. That is why it is not a beginner project, but people who are beginners also can follow this. We'll be using Tailwind CSS for the styling. Don't worry if you don't know how to use Tailwind CSS. We'll be going through that step by step. We'll be using TypeScript for type safety. We'll be using Vite as a tooling for creating all the packages for the front end, and for the back end we'll be using Express.js, Mongoose for the ORM, TypeScript for the type safety, Node.js, and for the database we'll be using MongoDB Atla. We'll also be following some best practices while coding. We'll be using Thunderbolt client for testing out our endpoints, and we will be using environment variables for saving ourselves from malicious users. So I have divided this series into parts instead of a long format, as I think that is more digestible and easier to understand. So hope you guys enjoy. So let's get started. So to start off, let's go to the desired directory. So in my case it is YouTube, and create a directory here called phone book YT, and we'll cd into it, phone book YT. Yep. Now next let's open VS Code. Okay. So until then let's go to, so in this case we'll be using Vite for the front end. So Vite and say React. Okay, let me open the terminal. Getting started. Let's copy out this line, paste here. So for the project name, let's call it client. We'll be using React with TypeScript. Okay, so let's cd into the client, and let's install the dependencies npmi. Let's open it and see. Okay, it's working. Now just let's run it and see whether everything works. Okay, let's go into this. Okay, it's working. So next let's download Tailwind CSS for the styling. Tailwind CSS, and let's call it Vite. Install, yeah, this one. Just copy out these 2 lines. I'll stop the server, paste it. enter. Once that is done, it should give us a tsconfig file for Tailwind. Yeah. Then what you do is you copy out this line and paste it here. Save that, and then we'll have to go to source, and inside index CSS it's mentioned here. So here, copy this out. I'll cancel this and paste this here. I think once that's done, everything's ready. So then let's go to app.tsx and just cut out all this. Don't need that. And class name also, I'll cut that out. We don't need this. We don't need app.css. Need that as well. Now just to check, let's see whether Tailwind is working. So class name text red 500. We'll be going through what this is and how it works. Then let's run the server. Okay. Sorry, it's npm run dev, not server. Let's go to this. Okay, it's working, as you can see here. So next, let's create a folder for the server. So not here. Let's create a folder called server, and just cut out this for now. We'll go to server, and let's go and install Express. So if I go to npm express, and I'll just paste that here. It should create a package.json file. Oh, sorry. First, you'll have to actually initiate the package.json file. So npm, let's delete this first. Sorry about that. We have to first initiate the package.json file. So npm init. This creates a package.json file. So just click enter. So this is the heart of this folder. All the dependencies is downloaded here. So once this is done, we install Express. Okay, that's done. Let's create a new folder called source, and inside the source, let's create a new file called index.ts. So as we'll be using TypeScript, we'll have to install another dependency, which is npm i --save dev ts node. So this basically transpiles the TypeScript code to JavaScript code. So if you go here, it's there in the development dependency. So I prefixed it with the save dev because we don't need this we need this in the development environment and not in the production environment. Only while developing we need this ts node. That's why I prefixed it with save dev. Okay, so once that's done, we need another file. Let's install another dependency called node.js. So this basically allows us to hot reload the server every time we make changes to it. So in order to do that, we go here, you have to install npm install node.js. So and this is also as a development dependency. Okay, that's done. Next, you'll have to configure the script. So call it dev. You can name it whatever you want, but I like naming it as dev. So let's just copy this and paste this here. Okay, you can just backslash these double quotes. You're not allowed to have double quotes, so backslash another one I need. Okay, yeah, that's done. So once that's done, let's go to index.ts file and let's just copy this out and paste it here. So since we will be using ES6, so we'll write this in ES6 manner. So that is import express as express, and because we are using TypeScript, we'll have to install the typings as well. So if you just hover here, you can copy out this line, copy that out and paste it here. Then these errors should go away. Okay, just give it some time. Yeah, it's gone. So now if I run the server, it should work. Let's see. Okay, let's see what the problem is. Okay, I always mess this up. It's npm run dev, not server. Okay, so we have an error here, unexpected here while for match. Okay, probably this right here. We did something wrong here. So let's see what the mistake was. There's another double quote. Let's try that and see what happens. npm run dev. Yeah, now it's working. So now if I go to this endpoint here, so we didn't mention the port. Okay, we've mentioned it here. Let's just try going there and see whether it's working. So http/localhost 3000. Okay. So for now, what will do is yeah. So our server is working properly. So next, what we'll do is let's install. We'll get Mongoose connected. So let's go to Mongoose npm. You can cut this. You can cut this now for now. No need. We'll install npm install Mongoose. It's a funny name. Then we'll copy this out, the ES6 manner of importing Mongoose. Okay, save that, and we'll have to connect the Mongoose. So as of now, this will have to change. So don't need this. Okay, next let's go head over to the database. So in our case, we'll be using Mongo Atla here. It might ask you to register, so let's sign up. Just try for free. So I'll sign up. So in my case, since I'm already have an account, it redirected me to this page. So in your case, you'll have to maybe register. You'll have three tiers. Just click on the free tier one, then you'll be led to this page. So then what we'll do is we'll build a database. Okay, so it's the same page. So then create, we'll use the free tier, and I'll leave all this at the default settings. Okay, once that's done, just give a username. So I'll just give it as test user for now. We'll give the password and create a user. Create user. Okay, and test user 2. So that's done. Then we'll head over to database. Now next we'll create a database. Yeah, we'll leave it at the default. Okay, no, not this. Let's go back and connect. Yeah, it's already, the cluster is already there, so connect. So in our case, it's an application. We're using Node.js, the latest version, and this is the URL which we'll be using to connect here. So copy this out, and you can close this. So once that's done, you paste it out here. Paste it here, and you'll have to change the name as well. So for us, it is, let's say the username was test user 2, and the password was admin. You'd ideally give a more secure password. Okay, so once that's done, once this is done, what we'll do is we will call a callback function. This is just for the development, when we are developing, for us to know whether it's connected. That is why we are console logging it. So let's just say connected, and I will call it port. So this port will be const port 3000. Okay, so once that's done, we'll listen to app.listen port. So we listen to it only after the connection is made, because we don't want the server to be called when the connection is not made. So that is why we put it inside a callback function. So once the database is connected, we listen to this port. So let's try running it. It should be connected, the message connected should, yeah, so now it's working, the server. So next what we'll do is, whenever we have such a important, like private line of code like this credential, we don't want this to appear in the client side. We have to hide these kind of values. So in order to do that, what you do is you put it in a file called .env. This is hidden from the client. Once that is done, in this file you call mongo URL. Inside this, we'll paste it here. This one, we copy that out and paste it out here. So once that's done, so now we need a way to take that data from here and put it here. So for that you'll need, 1 second. So for that you'll need another dependency called .env. So let's just go npmi.env. So once that's done, I'll install it. I'll exit the server for now, paste it here. Okay, so it's done. And if I scroll down and see, we need this line, these two lines, and paste it here. Okay, so that's done. So now we'll be able to use it. So now if you want to load the data from here and insert it here, what you do is just type process.env.mongo URL, the name of the variable which we give. So now it's giving me an error because of TypeScript, so I just give it an exclamatory. So this basically says this line of string cannot be undefined. It is always has a value. So once I save that and I run the server again, okay, again I'm making the same mistakes. npm run dev. If everything worked correctly, it should give me a message. Now it's connected, and the string also, we've hidden it from the user. So ideally we want this port as well to be hidden. So for that, what we'll do is we create another variable called port. No, this should not be, okay, this should not be in double quotes. It should be, yeah. Now I'll just give it as port 3000. So if you're deploying the project, you'll have to change the name of this to the site which you're deploying it to. So right now it's port 3000 because we are in the development phase. I just give as process.env.port, and be undefined. Sorry, it won't be undefined. If I save this, it should get connected again. Okay, it's correct. And if I go to this endpoint, everything should work properly. So http local 3000, it's working. So everything is working properly. So with this, we've configured all the dependencies which we'll be needing. Next, we'll start building the endpoints. Thank you.